Welcome back, IU fans, to the IU Report this week. Grant Shouse with Mike Hutsell, Greg Mingelt hanging out as well. Mike, some things on the agenda to discuss tonight. Indiana taking on Northwestern on Tuesday in men's basketball. The Hoosiers have lost 5 straight to Northwestern and have a good opportunity to get back on track at Assembly Hall on Tuesday. Curious your thoughts on that, and then I'll give mine. And this is a big opportunity here for Indiana, and you cannot squander these opportunities like against Northwestern and Minnesota coming up here soon.
No, it's a game that you just can't lose. It's a quad 3 game. You're going to accomplish really nothing by winning it other than you're just breaking one of the most baffling streaks in the recent history of Indiana basketball, which is losing 5 in a row to freaking Northwestern. But it's a game you have to win. Northwestern they're in that bottom tier of the Big Ten. They're not a team that you expect to compete in a road game. They've been blown out at times by Illinois and others this year. They have a local connection to me with Trey Singleton, the freshman from Jeffersonville, who was a state champion, knocked off Fishers last year for the 4A state title. The highest rated recruit in the history of Northwestern basketball, oddly enough.
That's crazy, actually.
Yeah, it's cool that he's up there, he's starting, he's doing well. You like to see it. You wonder how much effort by a previous staff might have gone into looking into him in Bloomington, but you can't really fault a kid for going to Northwestern and getting a free Northwestern education and NIL. Seems like the best of both worlds. So happy for him, but tomorrow not really going to be rooting for him. Have a plan on being at the Hall tomorrow night. Tickets were ridiculously cheap. So hopefully you get back in the win column and a game that they just can't lose.
Yeah, that's good you mentioned Trey Singleton. I kind of forgot about that. He won that state championship last year with Jeffersonville and what was the best high school basketball game I've ever seen in person. Actually, funny enough, I watched him in the regular season last year, his senior year at Jeffersonville, hit a game-winning shot at the buzzer to beat Columbus East, and they won the game, and everybody just went and got in the handshake line and went to the locker, and there was no celebration or nothing because I think they were mad they were losing to Columbus East, but he hit that game winner. So he's a really good player. He's one you'd like to have seen in an Indiana uniform. But this is one you have to have tomorrow. Looking at a bracketology here, this is another thing. A big discussion tonight is Indiana was kind of, I think, for most people in a couple weeks. After losing to Purdue and Illinois, I don't want to say those are excusable losses because those are losses you kind of thought might happen. They're 7 games above 500 now, and they were on the right side of the bubble. Now looking like they're on the wrong side of things in the first 4 out, according to the CBS bracketology here.
Okay. I want to stop you real quick. We will never acknowledge CBS bracketology. That's Jerry Palm. Jerry Palm's a Purdue guy. We don't acknowledge the CBS bracketology on this show. We'll look at Lenardi. We'll look at
I'm pulling up Lenardi right now. And
we'll look at Delphi bracketology for the local connection, but Jerry Palm is not one that we. Mike DeCourcy at Fox has Indiana's a 10 seed right now. They're in, but they're not trending well. Let's just put it that way. And the schedule could not have gone worse for Indiana. You had the game against Oregon that both of us were at. And then for 2 weeks, you were out of sight, out of mind. And the only 2 times you played in a 2-week stretch, you got your doors blown off. I mean, you got absolutely killed by Illinois, and you had the worst performance at Purdue since the 60s. And when you're out of sight, I mean, the committee's paying attention to that. They haven't seen you play for 2 weeks, and you're coming out and blowing your metrics up and playing that badly. You've got to get back on the right track. This week's an opportunity. 2 home games. Tuesday night, we talked about Northwestern and that opportunity, and then a big quad 1 opportunity Sunday afternoon. They've got Sparty coming to town, and you win that game, and all of a sudden you're looking a lot better. But it wasn't a good weekend for Indiana's bubble. A lot of the teams that you didn't want to win won, and Indiana played Friday night and just looked like absolute garbage.
Yeah, and looking at Lenardi here, he has Indiana in as of now in the South region as a 9 seed. They would be playing against Clemson, the 8 seed in the South region, and Oklahoma City. The winner would move on to either play Houston or Wright State, the champion of the Horizon League. So I guess that's a good sign here, but to keep people drawn in to make the tournament, you've got to win Tuesday night against Northwestern. It starts with Northwestern. You get Michigan State coming up soon, Minnesota as well, and then you close it out with Ohio State. And then depending on what seed you get in the Big Ten tournament, I think if you get a nice seed in the Big Ten tournament, because you're probably going to be playing Wednesday of the Big Ten tournament would be
most
my guess.
Most likely you're going to play one game in the Big Ten tournament that's can only hurt you because it's going to be one of those bottom tier teams. But then if like you're in the 8-9 game, you could be playing Iowa or UCLA or somebody in that game. I don't even know who you'd prefer to play in that situation. You've beaten UCLA. It was a long, daunting task to get there, but you beat them. But Iowa just kind of worked you on your home court. So
right.
I don't know what the best case scenario is for Indiana, but they need wins. 3-1 probably you're feeling pretty good. 4-0, I don't even think we're sweating on Selection Sunday. 2-2 with wins over Northwestern and Minnesota. You're looking a lot like Mike Woodson's team looked last year with your metrics and your profile. So Indiana was in a good spot. They played themselves into a worse spot. Now is an opportunity for them to right the wrongs and get back into a good position and hopefully start that with a good performance on Tuesday.
Well, if you can go 4-0 in this stretch, then there's no doubt that you're in. If you're 2-1 going into Ohio State, that game probably decides who gets in between Indiana and Ohio State in the last game of the regular season.
Ohio State has a very, very, very odd resume right now. They do not have a single quad 1 win, and I don't know if anybody's ever got in with 0 quad 1 wins as an at-large. So that'll be really interesting. Then you can't have bid thieves. You need Miami of Ohio to run the MAC. You need I don't know who the American front runner is right now.
Steelers.
Yeah, you can't. It seems like every year on Sunday I'm watching the American title game, hoping the favorite wins because I don't want to see UAB steal a bid from somebody. The A10, you need St. Louis to run that. You don't want to see like a Richmond or Davidson get hot, Dayton, somebody like that. And then the Big East is probably a 3-bid league, so you need one of St. John's, UConn, or Villanova to hold there because nobody else from that conference has earned a bid this year.
That's where the madness starts to come in right before March, especially with the one bid leagues here, is that, like, for example, Miami of Ohio is probably going to go undefeated and win the MAC regular season outright if they haven't already. They're probably going to be, what would it be, 29-0, 26-0, somewhere in there. I can't remember what they are now. I think they'd be 29-0 going into the MAC tournament. You cannot have them get beat. You cannot have Travis Steele get beat by his brother John Gross up there at Akron on the Saturday night of the MAC championship and steal a bid there. Because the question, I think, is if Miami of Ohio gets beat in the MAC tournament, goes undefeated in the regular season, loses in the MAC tournament, I think personally they probably should be in the tournament as an at-large.
Yes, they should.
That's an interesting case, man. You can make
the case
that they aren't.
We've seen many times over the years about how teams probably should be in as an at-large and didn't get in, a la 2024 Indiana State. probably could have been in as an at-large, but lost to, ironically enough, Darren DeVries and Tucker DeVries and Connor Enright in the Missouri Valley Tournament Championship game. And Drake got in over Indiana State, and Indiana State almost won the NIT because they couldn't make the NCAA tournament, and they probably should have been in the tournament at Dayton. TV controls a lot of it too, so we'll, I'll be interested to see, I think, what TV has to say about it and who they want in and who the people want to see. So that'll be interesting. But I really do think that if Indiana can take care of business and do what they're supposed to do here down the stretch, again, starting with Northwestern, they're going to make the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2023, and that'd be huge for Darren DeVries in his first season with Indiana.
Yeah, and then you talk about television. I'm of the mind that if Miami loses, they're headed to Dayton. They will get in. They'll go to Dayton, and they'll play like Ohio State.
A home game. They'll play a home game.
They'll play Ohio State and Dayton, and I think that's a made-for-TV matchup. The committee could take San Diego State or TCU or Indiana, but they see a chance to put Miami O and Ohio State up against each other. I think that means something. This isn't a conspiracy theory. That this is absolute. Like last year, North Carolina won quad one win. Probably should not have been anywhere near the tournament. They get in because they're North Carolina, and guess what? They drew good ratings for Dayton.
I was there. I went to the game, and they dominated that game. They embarrassed San Diego State. Mike, if it tells you anything about Dayton, which ironically enough, the first four, I think, is those two nights are my two favorite nights of the entire tournament. As a March Madness connoisseur and a big March Madness lover, I love the 2 days in Dayton, the 2 nights in Dayton. I was there in 2024 for the infamous Colorado State-Virginia game where Virginia went an hour of real time without a field goal. I was there. I saw it. Nothing will ever put me in a worse mood than that when it comes to March Madness and college basketball.
Were you there for Indiana versus Wyoming?
I was not.
So you're of the mind, and this is another subject we can talk about at another time. I'm not opposed to expanding the tournament. People say it's stupid.
Interesting.
I'm fine with it because what? We're going to complain about it. You're going to be upset about it. You're going to say this team and this team and this team didn't deserve to get in. And then guess what? You're going to sit your ass on a couch and you're going to watch the games.
Yeah. Yeah.
Indeed. Oh, Baylor didn't deserve to be in. Guess what? You're going to be sitting there watching Joseph Yesufu and Scotty Drew and the Bears play San Diego State in Dayton at like 10:30 at night, and you're going to be fine. And you're going to be like, you know what? And then after 2 or 3 years, you're not even going to realize they expanded the tournament.
Yeah. I know, again, it's a subject for another podcast, and I'm sure we'll go into it more in March, which is less than a week away. We're 20 days away here from Selection Sunday. My thing is that I think if you expand the tournament, I wouldn't be opposed to it if you did it a certain way where the last 8 bids are all playing games at Dayton. And I know we'll talk more about that, but that's on the surface. I'm not for it for the tournament expansion. I think it should stay at 68. But if you were to expand it to 72, depending on how you did it, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But you're right. It doesn't matter what game is thrown on at 12:10 on that first Thursday of the NCAA tournament while you're sitting there at work or you're sitting at school or you've taken the day off from one or the other and you're sitting your ass on the couch with a bunch of food knowing that, hey, in 12 hours I'm going to be, getting ready to go to bed and wake up tomorrow and do the next day. I don't care if it's Cal Baptist in Miami of Ohio. I'm sitting on the couch and I'm watching those games from start to finish. So that's what makes this tournament so special.
I'm with you, brother. That 8-9 game against Georgia against Iowa at 12:10 on Thursday, that's going to hit like crack, man.
Oh, man. Can't wait.
Nothing better.
Cannot wait.
All right, Grant. So breaking news with Indiana basketball today, and you're going to have to help me with the name because it's slipped my mind. The hiring of a general manager from the Pacers. Interested to hear your thoughts on this. What you expect from this role, and how do you think do you think this is a good thing for Indiana?
Yeah. By the way, his name is Ryan Carr, and he has had previous ties to the program. He was a manager at Indiana. Been with the Pacers. He's been in the NBA. Excuse me. The scouting, I think, will be taken to a next level. The player evaluation will be taken to a different level, which will be nice. I'm for it. I'm in college basketball these days. Everybody's got a GM. Everybody's got a talent evaluator. It's like that across all sports. Someone who can take care of those things along with the head coach. It's not like a professional franchise where the GM is above the head coach. I think that Ryan Carr reports to Darren DeVries. He's his boss. I guess it just depends on how you run your program. I think it probably needed to happen. I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner, to be honest. I honestly didn't even know they didn't have a GM until today. So, yeah, again, especially with the state ties the dude's had, where he's had relatives that have played and come through Indiana high school basketball, and him being a manager and being a in the front office for the Indiana Pacers. I'm good with it. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's just the way, like you said, the game is going. The top 4 teams in KenPom, I read today, all have general managers. Michigan, Duke. I can't remember who the third team was. Illinois was the 4th team. So, Arizona. All these teams have GMs. They have guys who are eyeing personnel. The bad thing to me is it kind of feels like a tampering position. It's like you're eyeing the portal for potential guys. You've got to know who's going to be coming into the portal to have this job. I feel like so. It's the trend of the game. You're kidding yourself if you don't think tampering is a huge part of football and basketball at the college level. Hell, we've seen it maybe in high school with Alan Henderson's son leaving university. 2 weeks before the IHSAA tournament. So it's crazy, but it's a necessity. Everything. And here's the thing. We don't know anything about Ryan Carr. We don't know if he's going to be good at this job, but the things that you've read about him today, the things that you've looked at, and the things that you've seen said about him, Jonathan Giovanni, NBA draft guy, spoke very, very highly of him when it was announced. So it's a necessary move. I hope that Indiana is going to back it up with the resources required to get guys in the portal, and just to upgrade the overall talent on this team, because that's the biggest issue for this team right now. They haven't played bad. They haven't played great. I think they've hit exactly what their talent level. They've hit exactly what their talent level supports, and that's where we're at. And if hopefully that leads to an NCAA tournament berth.
Well, Mike, as if I've sat around every day for about the past month since Indiana won the national championship, and I've said to myself, wow, my day is just really, really good. And Indiana football comes in and says, it's not good enough. Let's make it better. And Curt Cignetti, who inked a new contract extension back in October when the Penn State job had just come open, and his name was the first guy everybody was talking about for Penn State. It was right after they beat Oregon. And boom, I click on Twitter, and the guy is sitting at his desk signing a blank piece of prop paper that basically symbolizes he's signing a contract and will be in Bloomington to stay for $11 million a year. Well, Indiana goes on and wins the Big Ten. They go undefeated in the regular season. They win the Rose Bowl, they win the Peach Bowl, and then they win the national championship, and they go undefeated, all in the process. And Cignetti inks yet another new contract, $13 million a year, to make him the highest paid college football coach in America. And it's just unbelievable that this guy, I know we said it for 2 years now, but it's just unbelievable that this guy is leading our football program, and I wouldn't want anyone else to do it.
Well, good on his agent. This is a contractually obligated raise that Indiana had to give him. He was already making 11, but if he won the national title, there's language in his contract that said he had to be one of the top 3 in the country. So it's not a surprise whatsoever that they inked this deal. The incredible thing to me is, like, as recently as 3 years ago, Indiana was spending about $6 million on its entire pool of football coaches, 6 to 7 million. And 3 of that was going to the head coach. And now, just this offseason alone, Indiana has committed almost $20 million to Curt Cignetti, Shanahan, and Haynes.
And by the way, Mike, I don't want to interrupt, but in 2023, in late November 2023, when they told Tom Allen to go take a hike and fired him, they bought out his contract for $20 million. So they have spent a lot of money on this football program to get rid of the old guy, bring in the new guy, and then raise the price tag for the new guy, which is just...
It's the cost of doing business. Pam Whitten came in as the president. She was committed. It's the first time in I don't know how many years you saw a president at the university level who was committed 100% fully to the athletic department. You can feel any way you want about Pam Whitten politically, and plenty of people have expressed that opinion, but she is the best thing athletically that has happened to Indiana from a presidential standpoint, because she has the full support of Dolson. She is 100% tied in with Cignetti. I think those 3 are contractually tied to each other. If one leaves, the other 2 can go with her, which is crazy, but that's just the commitment level that they have gotten from the president's chair. Mike McRobbie famously was taking money from the TV deal and funding the art program. Not the most popular move among Indiana fans when that news broke. So good on the school, good on recognizing what they have, good on Cignetti's agent for negotiating a raise on top of a raise. At some point, so now if Kirby Smart and 2 other guys come in and get to above him, does Indiana has to go back and renegotiate, because he has to be in the top 3. So great work by that dude's agent.
That dude can get whatever he wants.
So one last thing, Grant, that came out today that I wanted to get your thoughts on. Daniel Jeremiah, one of the best draft analysts out there. He does his top 50. He updates it weekly. We're heading into the combine this week, and a guy from Indiana went from not ranked in the top 50 to Omar Cooper is now the 19th best prospect on Daniel Jeremiah's big board. So you're looking at very real possibility of 2 Indiana Hoosiers being first-round NFL draft picks. Just want to get a quick thought from you on that one.
Yeah, I'm not shocked. I think anybody that's seen Omar Cooper, or even like Elijah Surratt for that matter, would tell you they're capable of being number 1 picks. Now, whether if they will be or not, only time will tell, I guess, in April. But I think that he's no question deserving of that. The moves that guy made, like, I thought Surratt was kind of the big target, obviously, but Omar Cooper was the more quick, the more athletic, the more agile receiver who could spin out of tackles, flip out of tackles. I think that Surratt was kind of your bell cow when it comes to catching the football as a wide receiver, but Omar Cooper was, again, just more agile. I'm not saying one's better than the other, because I thought they were both on the same level, but both of them I think are capable of being first-round draft picks. And I have seen talks where the Raiders would like to potentially, obviously, they're going to draft Fernando Mendoza number 1, but I've seen the possibility of them either drafting Cooper or Surratt to pair with him out there in Vegas. So it wouldn't shock me if, either of their stocks draft or jumped higher for the draft. And I'll be excited to see him in the NFL Combine this week. It'd be probably the first time I've ever watched the NFL Combine because Indiana's got like 10 guys that are in it.
Fernando not throwing this week, not really a surprise there. He's going to wait
He will
till
throw it. He will throw it
pro
at
day.
Indiana's pro day.
April 1, I think, is the scheduled date for the pro day. So no Fernando this weekend. Pretty big weekend in Indianapolis. You'll have the state finals going on for girls, the combine at the same time. So pretty cool weekend. If you've never been to the combine, it's kind of neat just to experience it once. You walk in there and you just see guys that you see. Well, I saw Bill Belichick just kind of sitting by himself with his binoculars. The one time I had a chance to attend, it was cool. And then you'll run into like Eddie George running around downtown. So I recommend. I know you'll probably be at the state finals on Saturday, but if you get a chance to head over, you can. It's free. You get a chance, and I think Saturday is the day the quarterbacks are throwing, so you could probably see I don't know, Ty Simpson or somebody maybe who's going to be there trying to secure that second spot among quarterbacks in the draft.
My alma mater is competing in the 2A state championship against Eastern Peak. So, yeah, I'd actually never considered that till you said it. So I may slide over there in between sessions because I'll be back for the 2 night games. But yeah, exciting. I mean, we're getting into the best time of the year in sports where you got conference tournaments coming up soon, and then March Madness is going to start soon. And right after that, you'll get into the Masters. What'd you say, Greg?
IndyCar starts this weekend.
Right. There's a lot of exciting things going on, and I'm just one of my favorite times of year, and I'm pumped, man. And hopefully Indiana basketball can get at least 3 big wins here down the stretch and propel themselves into the NCAA tournament.
Spring training.
Derby preps.
Thanks so much to Grant and Mike for joining me once again, and thank you for listening. Please share this podcast with an IU fan in your life and help us spread the word that the Central Indiana Sports Report is talking about what Central Indiana sports fans are talking about every single day. Grant and Mike will be back next week. Please check out my new podcast, Greg and His Friends Talk Sports, where I talk with my friends like Grant and Mike about IU, Purdue, Pacers, Colts, Fever, IndyCar, national sports, high school sports. It's pretty cool. Please check it out. Oh, last thing. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.